Hi there, music lovers. This is John of HornSmasher.com. And although there are many maintenance services that can only be done by a qualified repair technician, there is much you can do yourself to keep your trumpet playing at top performance. In today's video, I'm going to explain the periodic maintenance you should be doing on your instrument. Doing this maintenance will prolong the playing life of your trumpet and extend the time before it needs major repairs. The methods used in this video are designed for an adult, so if you are under 14 years of age, I recommend you do this with adult supervision. So, are you ready? Let's get to it. Over time, deterioration will happen to your trumpet. So what can you do to slow that down? Your trumpet is a machine with many moving parts. Just like any other machine, it is subject to mechanical wear from the motion of the valves and the tuning slides. This machine also has to operate in a very humid atmosphere caused by your breath passing through the horn. Your breath contains moisture that suspends sugars, acids, and bacteria. These contaminants will build up on the inside and outside of the trumpet. Most of the issues we will deal with in this video will be the removal of corrosion from the inside of the horn. In my years as a repairman, I've seen a lot of misinformation regarding the cleaning of brass instruments. Many of the techniques used by others will actually cause damage to your horn. The methods used in this video are safe and will prolong the playing life of your instrument. We begin by removing all 4 tuning slides. We next remove the bottom valve caps with a counterclockwise motion. We finish by removing the piston valves using the same counterclockwise turning we did on the bottom caps. To begin our cleaning, we need to first remove the old valve oil and slide grease. For this, we use our valve casing rag to wipe off the slide grease from the tuning slides. We also need to wipe off the inside slide tubing on the body of the horn. We next use the same cloth to wipe off the remaining valve oil from the piston valves. For our next step, we will need our casing loop rod and our rubbing alcohol in the spray bottle. Now, we take our casing rag, place a corner of it into the loop on our casing rod, and rotate it 1 or 2 turns. We then pull the rag over the end of the rod, bring it back, and hold the rag around the loop handle. We next spray some rubbing alcohol on the rag as a grease-cutting solvent. Now, we swab out the inside of the hand slides. And we finish the process by redoing the swab in a fresh, clean area, spraying again with alcohol, and swabbing the inside tubes on the body of the horn. Moving on, we once again use our casing rag and loop swab, but this time we wind it up 1 or 2 turns more. So it is about the size of our finger. We spray it again with alcohol and swab out the 3 valve casings. Now that we have removed most of the grease and oil, we continue cleaning using our Trumpet snake to clean a little further into the horn. We first snake out the lead pipe of the horn using a back and forth motion. We then snake out all of the slide tubes on the body of the horn. It is important not to let the end of the snake bottom out into the valve casing. The end of the snake can cause a burr on the inside of the casing, which may cause the valve to jam. Next, lay the snake on the top of the slide with the brush end just before the valve casing. And use your fingers to grab the snake at the end of the tube. This way, you will have a physical stop that will not let the end of the brush go into the casing when doing the back and forth cleaning. For our hardcore cleaning, we need to remove the corrosion from the valve casings and the slide tubes. For this, we use our 2 wire brushes. These brushes have fine and very sharp bristles on them, and you need to be careful not to touch the bristles. Hold these tools by the handles only. The smaller one is used for the slide tubing, and we will begin with the tubes on the body of the Trumpet. Line up your brush straight with the tubes and push them in with a clockwise twisting motion. Just like with our snake tool, we never want to go so far as to enter the valve casing. Most of the hard corrosion will be near the ends of the tubes anyway, so even halfway down will get the job done. It's very important not to do this brushing to the second slide's tubes, as this will cause a burr on the inside of the casings and cause the valves to jam. After the body tubes are done, we do the same procedure on the slide tubes. We finish with the larger casing brush, and this procedure involves brushing from 2 directions into the valve casings of the horn. We start from the top and push the brush into each casing with a clockwise twisting motion. We want to twist the brush about halfway through the casing, continuing the clockwise motion as we pull it back out. We then turn the horn over and repeat from the bottom side. All of the work we've done to this point has knocked loose a lot of contaminants that are still inside the horn. It's now time to remove all that stuff. To get this done, we now take our slides and valves and head off to the bathroom or kitchen sink. We start by washing the pistons using warm water and common dish soap. You want to hold the valve with your fingers around the valve button and valve cap and wash the piston only. You do not want to get water on the valve felts and corks. Use your mouthpiece brush with soap on it to brush through the valve ports and scrub off the side of the piston. If you cannot remove all of the deposits with your scrubbing, do not obsess about it. There are some contaminants which can only be removed by chemical cleaning. Finish by rinsing off the valve thoroughly. After rinsing, place the pistons leaning upright on top of a paper towel. For our slide tubing, we only need to flush water through the tubes. For the slides with water keys, try to hold the slides so you can keep the water keys from getting wet. When we are done, we stand each slide upright to drain on a paper towel. Most people do not have a deep enough sink to wash the body of the horn. Take it outside where you can flush it out with a garden hose. Being careful not to scratch the horn with the metal end of the hose. Flush out the bell, lead pipe, slide tubes, and lastly the valve casings. Do the routine at least 2 times. After the flush out, turn the horn over and around a few times and give it a few hard shakes. You now need to leave your drying parts overnight or for at least a 12-hour period. Now that all the parts are dry, we have a couple of more cleaning steps to do before reassembly. It's a good idea to treat the inside of the slide tubes with a light coating of oil. This coating will offer some protection against corrosion after the cleaning. Make another tube cleaning rag set and squirt a little valve oil on the tip of the rag. Then swab all of the slide tubing. Repeat the process on the body slide tubes, squirting a little more oil on the rag as you go along. Our last step before reassembly is the cleaning of the valve casings. This is a 2-step process where we swab the casings with oil first and then go back for a second dry swab of the casings. Just like we did earlier on, we make a casing swab a little larger than the tubing swab. Squirt some valve oil on it and swab out all 3 casings. We then repeat the process with a dry swab. To finish the maintenance, we reassemble the horn with fresh valve oil and slide lubricant. Before doing any oiling, we first check to see if the valve assemblies are secure. We do this by holding the piston in one hand and turning the finger button in a clockwise direction. It should not turn. If it does, turn it clockwise until it stops. Repeat this on all 3 valves. Your valves are numbered 1, 2, and 3. And for the horn to play properly, they can only go into casings numbered 1, 2, and 3. They are arranged with valve number 1 closest to the horn's mouthpiece end. Most valves are properly aligned when the stamped number on the valve is turned to face the mouthpiece end of the trumpet. However, this is not always the case. To test this, we use the middle number 2 valve because we can visually see if it's installed in the right direction. Start by taking the number 2 valve and slide it partway into the casing. With the stamped number 2 facing the mouthpiece end of the horn, we turn the valve about 10 degrees counterclockwise. Then push the valve nearly all the way down and rotate the valve clockwise until you hear the guide snap into place. Finish by screwing in the top cap. When we push the piston down, we should see the ports fill the opening. If we see this, the valve is in the wrong place and needs to be rotated 180 degrees. If this should happen, it means that on your horn, the stamp numbers should face the bell of the horn, not the mouthpiece. Now that we have determined the correct reassembly direction, we insert each valve about halfway into the casing. Squirt a few drops of oil on the piston and set it in place. We finish by working the valves up and down a few times and complete the valve installation by installing the bottom valve caps. Our last step is the lubrication and reassembly of the 4 tuning slides. We start with the main tuning slide, squeezing a little slide grease on each tube and smearing it around a bit with our fingers. We next push only one tube into place and work it back and forth. Then we repeat with the other tube and finish by installing the entire slide. When doing the final installation on the individual valve tuning slides, depress the valve connected to the slide to release the air pressure from the slide as it's pushed back on. Well, music lovers, to wrap it up, doing this periodic maintenance will extend the life of your instrument and the time before your trumpet will need costly repairs. This is Horn Smasher John, reminding you that all the materials used in this video are available for purchase in my official hornsmasher.com trumpet care kit, available for purchase on this website. See ya!